It's November the 24th, 1971, the night before Thanksgiving. In Portland International Airport, passengers are ready to get home at the last minute before the holidays. At the flight counter of Northwest Orient Airlines is a smartly dressed customer. He introduces himself as Dan Cooper and asks for a one-way ticket to Seattle. Just a 30-minute hop. Paying in cash, he collects his ticket and boards flight 305, a Boeing 727-100. Taking his seat, he notices there aren't too many other passengers, just a third full. He has time to order a drink. Bourbon and soda. Florence Schaffner and Tina Mucklow, both cabin attendants, are buckled into their jump seats towards the aft of the plane. The flight's scheduled for 2:50 p.m. and everything's on time. As it's taking off, Cooper leans back and hands Florence Schaffner a note. Florence is used to getting unwanted attention from lonely and attached businessmen passing their number to her. She drops it into her pocket, smiling politely at the smartly dressed gentleman wearing horn-rimmed sunglasses. Cooper leans back and says, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Florence is aghast. Reaching into her pocket, she opens the note. Written in felt tip in all capital letters, every word strikes home. Florence stands up, dropping the note. Tina Mucklow is astonished to see Florence unbuckle, get up, and sit next to Cooper. That wasn't normal procedure. What was going on? Florence signaled to Tina to look at the note, now on the floor. Tina, upon reading the note, got on the intercom to the pilots and let them know. There was a problem. Cooper opened his briefcase and showed it to the two young women. Mucklow felt sick. Dynamite, sticks of it hooked up to a battery. In a cool voice, Cooper gave his demands, which Florence wrote down and took to the cockpit, leaving Tina to sit with Cooper. $200,000 by 5 p.m., 2 front parachutes, 2 back parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting on the ground in Seattle, as well as some food for the flight crew. Everyone tried to keep calm and to keep the other passengers in the dark as to the drama that was unfolding. On the ground, government agents sprang into action. The first thing was to get the plane out over the water. If it was going to blow up, then no one wanted that over a populated area. Co-pilot Bill Ratazak got on the passenger intercom.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your flight with us. We're having a minor technical issue and we need to burn off some fuel before we land. Nothing to worry about, but we'll be circling around here for a few hours and we'll get you down on the ground just as soon as we can.
For almost 2 hours, the flight circled as a lightning storm started outside. As the plane came into land, Cooper said to the attendants, "Looks like Tacoma down there." He was right. FBI agents gathered the ransom money from different Seattle area banks, all in unmarked $20 bills. They'd gotten some military parachutes which Cooper turned down. Instead, he requested civilian parachutes as used by skydiving schools. The FBI obliged. Tina Mucklow said,
"He seemed rather nice. He was never cruel or nasty. He was thoughtful and calm all the time."
When the reality of the situation hit Schaffner, Cooper calmly reassured her. Cooper ordered a second bourbon and soda, which he paid for and tried to give Mucklow the change. Mucklow, calmed by Cooper's demeanor, decided to engage him in conversation. She asked,
"Sir, do you have a grudge with Northwest Airlines?"
Cooper replied, "I don't have a grudge against your airline, miss. I just have a grudge." The plane touched down in the dark at around 5:30 p.m. It taxied upon Cooper's request to a well-lit part of the airport. Passengers exited, completely unaware of the fact that they had just completed their journey on a hijacked plane. Cooper had all the blinds lowered so as not to give any potential snipers a clear shot. The bags of cash and the parachutes were delivered to the aft staircase of the plane, and Mucklow retrieved them. Satisfied, Cooper allowed everyone to exit the plane, except Captain Scott, Flight Attendant Mucklow, First Officer Ratazak, and Flight Engineer Harold E. Anderson. The FBI did what they could to delay the refueling, but Cooper grew impatient.
This shouldn't take so long. Let's get this show on the road.
Cooper told his plan to the cockpit crew via Mucklow.
Tell them this up front. Okay, boys, this is how it's going to go. We're going to Mexico City, and we're going to take the slow route. I want the minimum airspeed this crate can go without stalling, which by my reckoning is 100 knots or 115 miles per hour. Also, I want a maximum height of 10,000 feet. I want the landing gear down all the way and the flaps at 15 degrees. Oh, and I like the fresh air. Let's keep the cabin depressurized.
Ratazak told Cooper that with
That configuration, the plane could only go 1,000 miles.
not enough to get to Mexico City, they agreed to refuel in Reno on the way. Cooper turned to Mucklow.
Now, miss, if you wouldn't mind showing me how to operate those stairs.
At 7:40 p.m., the 727 took to the air once more, headed for Mexico City. Shortly after takeoff, two Convair F-106 fighter jets joined the hijacked airliner, one approaching from above, the other from below, impossible to see from the main cabin. With the two of them alone in the cabin, Cooper turned one last time to Mucklow.
Thank you, miss, for all you have done. Why don't you go up front and join the pilots?
She replied,
Won't you please take the bomb with you when you jump?
Cooper said nothing, just started preparing the chutes. Heading to the cabin, she turned back one last time to see Cooper working on the parachutes. That was the last time she saw Cooper. Mucklow later told Rolling Stone magazine,
Being able to reunite with the rest of my crew and coming through the cockpit was an amazing experience. We were still in harm's way, but I wasn't alone. All of us looked at each other and there was just a sense of amazement.
The co-pilot, Ratazak, said, all of a sudden the cockpit door opened and in walked this lovely lady who had been our passive resistance to the hijacker. It was a big relief. At 8:13 p.m., a warning light came on to show that the aft door was open. The plane was flying through a heavy rainstorm over the Lewis River in southwest Washington. Cooper, along with the money, launched himself into the dark night. Despite hefty rewards for information, Cooper was never found. Searches involving 200 Army soldiers turned up nothing. The FBI published the numbers of the dollar bills. Nothing. There were several copycat hijackings which led to the FAA making the Cooper vane mandatory, a device which prevented the rear stairs from being deployed in mid-flight. In 1978, a deer hunter found printed instructions for lowering the stairs of a Boeing 727 in the woods near Castle Rock in Washington. In 1980, an 8-year-old boy on vacation on the Columbia River found $5,800 on the riverbank in bundles. The FBI confirmed it was from Cooper's stash. 10 bills were missing from one of the packets, and even more mysteriously, in 2020, an analysis of diatoms found on the bills shows that the bundles were not submerged in the river or buried dry at the time of the hijacking in November 1971. Only diatoms that bloom during springtime were found, meaning the money entered the water at least several months after the hijacking. In 2016, with no more leads, the FBI closed the D.B. Cooper case. Many have obsessed over D.B. Cooper and believe that Tina Mucklow holds the key to solving the mystery. In 2021, she told Rolling Stone magazine that at times the harassment had been intense. She'd endured aggressive Cooper obsessives who didn't take no for an answer.
There have been many times when I felt that people didn't respect no, or not interested, or just the fact that I didn't contact them. Anytime you have a mystery, there's this need to solve that mystery. I understand that. Each person has to do what they have to do, but I think it's important to respect that other people may not have that same agenda.
If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel and please watch more videos of ours. Thank you.